Today I want to show you a really easy way you can write a script to tell a great story with video. Hey, my name's Jake and I create content here to help solo creators on the go. So I test and review lots of drones, cameras, lenses, filmmaking equipment, usually in Alaska, and I teach you the skills you need so that you can earn money from your video or your photo work. Today I want to show you a really simple way to write a script so you can tell a great story with video. Now, a story doesn't have to be super complicated, but all good stories follow a basic path, and that's to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And we take a journey from the beginning through the middle to the end. The beginning of the story is where we introduce our characters and we establish a location and give the reason why we're about to go on this journey. The middle is where we bring in the conflict or the lesson, the thing that has to be overcome in order for us to learn and grow and understand something new that we didn't understand before. And you can see this sort of story structure throughout all kinds of advertising, through pretty much anything. The story structure remains the same. The middle is where we introduce a conflict, an obstacle, or something like that that forces our character to have to grow, learn, and change. The end is where we bring in the payoff or the conclusion, and that's where we show what our character learned or how they grew or changed as a person, as a character. First, I need to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, which is Film Convert, who makes two fantastic plugins for Premiere Pro, for Final Cut Pro, and for DaVinci Resolve. One being Nitrate and one being Cinematch. If you use lots of different cameras like I do, drones, GoPros, mirrorless cameras, my phone sometimes, and you want to make them all look like they were shot on the same camera, then Cinematch is a really fantastic tool to be able to do that, because it basically goes down to the sensor level and matches up that footage. Now, it doesn't only do that, it also has some really great color grading options and lots of other things that can help you rescue footage that was shot maybe with the wrong white balance or something like that. Cinematch is just a fantastic, really powerful plugin that I find myself using on every single video I shoot because of the way I shoot. There are links in the description if you want to check them out for yourself, and there's a code down there that will give you 10% off as well. I rarely know exactly how things are going to go when I go out to shoot a video, so I have a general rough idea of the story that I want to tell and some general ideas of the shots that I want to capture to be able to tell that story. And this is how I write it down. On the left column, you have here the script, the general idea of the story. That could be, in this case, the voiceover or the narration from our character. Or it could be actual like script of, somebody talking to camera about a project they're working on or a product that they're building or something like that, depending on who I'm working for and what I'm doing at the time. But then on the right-hand side, that's where all the shots that I know I want to capture to be able to help tell that story or support that story are going to be listed. Sometimes I draw them out if I have a specific idea, but a lot of times I just write down like, I know I'm going to need to capture these types of shots to tell this part of the story, and so I'll write those down there so that I don't forget. So in this case, our character's voiceover is going to match the journey that they're going to go through as they go through the journey they're about to go through. They start off with talking about how incredible Alaska is, the beauty that you see basically everywhere, and how they have a deep passion to go out and capture it with film and with photos. So on the right-hand side of that, of course, we want to talk about make sure we get shots of some of the incredible beauty in Alaska as we go out to find a place to take photos. Also want to talk about how the character's also going to talk about how Alaska is extreme. Both the landscape and the weather can be very extreme and very dynamic and harsh. So here, we want to capture shots, hopefully, of harsh weather, whatever that might be, harsh landscapes, something like that, to portray the very dynamic nature of Alaska. Here we're going to introduce this quote that basically says, there is no bad weather, only inappropriate clothing. Because we're building this story around, basically, say we're making a video for a clothing brand that they wanted to show off how great their clothing was in all kinds of conditions. So that's kind of the purpose of this story, is to show off how amazing the right clothing can be to help you go out and do whatever you're going to do. So over there, we're going to have shots of putting on a good Gore-Tex jacket that's going to protect us from all of the rain, wind, whatever we're going to encounter. And our character sort of starts to introduce the idea of how important good gear is to be able to really go out and capture in any sort of conditions. And to back that up, we're going to show shots of them hiking to a location, and maybe, depending on what we can find, whether it's like snow or water or something like that, or just really rough terrain, then we're going to show those off to reinforce that idea of the good gear, whether it's foot gear, pants, jackets, whatever. This is where we have moved into the middle of the story, where we've kind of brought in this conflict of some rugged terrain, the weather, the rain, the wind, whatever it might be, is going to be something we have to overcome. And the only way we overcome it is by using good clothing. So our character talks about the clothing they need, and basically has to be able to handle the equipment they take. It has to be able to handle anything Alaska throws their way. And then also talks about how it's not easy. This is where we're going to be showing them walking up some rough terrain maybe, or walking in the rain, or maybe walking in an ice cave or snow or something like that to demonstrate how it really isn't easy to go out and capture some of Alaska's beauty all the time. And that's going to be backed up by more shots of us on the journey. And then we're coming to the end, which is where we are going to show our character basically has overcome and fought through all of the hardships or all of the things that have made this journey difficult. And it's largely due to and because of the right kind of gear, the right kind of clothing that they have had to be able to get through those times. And this is where we're going to get our character on top of something high up, or show them basically in the environment that they were going toward at the destination, taking photos and taking in the moment. So I do a fair amount of research ahead of time to kind of like get an idea of what the weather's going to be like, or what sort of obstacles I'm going to have to overcome, whether it's, climbing up a really steep mountain or the weather, whatever it might be. And then I either print out a copy of the script, or usually I have a digital version on my phone with me or something with me that I can just kind of glance and make sure I'm capturing the shots that I know I wanted to capture, and that it's going to match up somewhat with the voiceover or the narration, whatever that might be. I want to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything, because anytime I haven't had this with me, I have forgotten something, and then I have to change the story to be able to fit the stuff that I have captured. And doing this will help tremendously when it comes to editing, because then you aren't just having to filter through a ton of shots or a ton of things that you filmed and hope that you can piece something together in the end. But now, let's see how this worked out in the end. One thing that's amazing about Alaska is it has incredible beauty everywhere you look. And I have a deep passion to go out and capture it with film and with photos. But Alaska's also really extreme. The weather can be perfect, but more often than not, it can be harsh and unforgiving. But that doesn't change the beauty. In fact, in many cases, I think it makes it better. I think it even enhances it. There's a quote that I've always loved, but I've never really understood until recently. There is no bad weather, only inappropriate clothing. To truly go out and capture the rugged beauty that Alaska offers, I realize more and more the importance of good gear, both from the camera equipment that I take, but also the clothing that I wear. It has to be able to handle anything that Alaska throws my way. But to really capture and appreciate Alaska fully, I think you have to venture out on days like this. To be able to push yourself to go places you haven't gone, or to get through conditions that maybe you ordinarily just wouldn't. The struggle, the weather, and all the challenges only serve to deepen the appreciation and enjoyment of these incredible landscapes and places. The truth is, these moments are fleeting and last sometimes just for a few seconds. And then the sun goes down, the weather changes, and our time is done. But with the right gear, I'm able to go out in any condition and capture these moments and experiences that last for a second, but are now frozen in time to remember forever. You're going to want to watch this video right here to learn more about how to tell stories with video. As always, if you have questions, ask me in the comments below, or you can join my live stream, which happens most Wednesday nights at 4 p.m. Alaska time, 8 p.m. Eastern, if I'm not standing out in the middle of nowhere trying to take pictures of fall colors. I'll see you again soon in the next video. Cheers.